Yo, what's up guys? I just got done watching the Bulls beat the Detroit Pistons. Later in today's video, I'm going to be recapping that game and breaking that game down. And let's be honest, it was a pretty ugly game, but nonetheless, a W is a W. So definitely leave a like on today's video for last night's W. Also, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel and leave some comments and questions below today's video talking about last night's game and any of the topics I'm going to talk about in today's video. Also, check out my last video if you guys missed it. I was talking about a bunch of Chicago Bulls moves. They finally finalized the complete roster, but nonetheless, let's just jump right into it because a bunch of Bulls news has came out, and huge shout out to Daniel Greenberg for putting this out. The Chicago Bulls say that they have hired Bradford Burgess as a player development coordinator, and this is pretty cool. You know, Burgess played 6 years of professional basketball overseas. You love to hear that. I love when the Bulls hire like former players because they obviously know the game more than other people would that haven't played the game. He was also a performance analyst for the OKC during the 2019-2020 season, so this move really doesn't surprise me. I mean, he used to work with Billy Donovan in OKC, so it's definitely cool that they're connecting. You know, I love that the Bulls are still hiring people and the season just started. Arturis has done wonders for this whole organization, changing the whole front office, you know, adding a bunch of player development coordinators, assistant coaches, and obviously changing the roster a bunch. But nonetheless, leave some comments below today's video about that first topic. And just a little heads up, if I sound a little different, I am feeling a little bit under the weather. But nonetheless, now I have a big injury update. You know, this obviously came out before the Bulls versus Pistons game. Billy Donovan said Patrick Williams' game conditioning isn't yet up to speed. He also said there are no minute restrictions, so that's great as well. You know, obviously Patrick Williams isn't 100%. He missed the whole preseason and he's finally returning from injury. But nonetheless, I believe he played a solid game. I expect him to, of course, ramp up the minutes and playing time and just play, hopefully, from Patrick Williams in the next few games. Billy Donovan also said Troy Brown Jr., who has been battling a mouth issue that has left him unable to eat, was available to go. Obviously, he did play. He got into foul trouble pretty quickly. And then, of course, Billy Donovan did play Ayo. You know, Ayo really played solid off the Bulls bench. I'm going to be talking about that later in today's video. So it'll be interesting to see how Troy Brown Jr. is for Friday's game versus the Pelicans. And here's a huge update on Coby White. And this tweet and update came out about a week ago, so it's looking like the Bulls are about 2 to 3 weeks away from making a big decision on the next step for Coby White in his shoulder rehab. Billy Donovan said that, and he also said Coby White remains a ways away from contact, so that timeline is likely when he might be cleared for contact, and then obviously he is expected to return sooner rather than later for the Chicago Bulls, so that's a great update because I truly do believe, especially with last night's game, the Bulls really miss Coby White's, I'd say, just scoring punch off the Bulls bench. So definitely leave some comments and questions below today's video about all those injury updates. And the next topic in today's video is a huge update on the whole Lonzo Ball and Kyle Lowry tampering situations. You know, before the season started, Adam Silver was talking to Casey Johnson and the media, and I can't believe this, man. He said those investigations are still ongoing. He said no update right now. You know, it's been like 2 to 3 months and there's been no updates really. You know, I'm just sick of it. No matter what, Lonzo Ball is a Bull and that's all that matters. But come on, man, they've waited like 2 to 3 months and there's still no update. That's ridiculous from my standpoint. I mean, if you're taking months to look into this, you know, I feel like the Bulls did nothing wrong. I truly do believe the Bulls and Pelicans had a sign and trade agreement, like I'd say pretty much finalized at the NBA trade deadline. But nonetheless, that whole situation is just kind of annoying at this point. Definitely leave some comments and questions below today's video talking about that topic. And the final topic in today's video, I'm obviously going to be recapping and just talking about last night's game. And like I said earlier in today's video, the Bulls did beat the Pistons. And let me say, it was not a pretty game. It was a very ugly game. But nonetheless, a W is a W. And I also saw on Twitter that this is the first time since 2016 that the Chicago Bulls won their first game of this season. So that's great to hear. I can't believe it's been that long. But nonetheless, I'm really happy with a big W. And I think it's obvious it's going to take some time for these guys to, gel and their chemistry still to get down. Like I said in a past video, preseason is not even comparable to the NBA, especially with the Pistons. Huge shout out to the Pistons. They have a really scrappy bunch. I wish we could have saw Cade Cunningham play. Hopefully he gets healthy soon. But nonetheless, I really liked what I saw from pretty much all the Bulls. DeRozan looked a little iffy. Same with Vooch. I mean, Vooch still put up 15 and 15. That man is a walking double. He just wakes up and puts up a double. I do feel like the Bulls are missing a bunch of wide open layups and shots, so I do expect the offense and those shots to go down later in the season. But nonetheless, what more can I say? Zach LaVine is that man. He's so special. He played a great game in 35 minutes. He put up 34 points, 4 assists, and 7 rebounds. He pretty much carried this Bulls team. Hopefully next game, Demar and Vooch and some backups or some bench players really help out, because the Bulls bench really struggled, especially Alex Caruso on the offensive end. But on the defensive end, Caruso was all over the ball. Same with Lonzo Ball, tipping the basketball in passing lanes and just being very active, diving on the floor. I love what I've seen from Caruso and Lonzo Ball at the point guard position. But like I was saying earlier in today's video, the Bulls bench was kind of weak. They really didn't put up that many points. I believe they only put up 10 points off the Bulls bench in Alex Caruso and Ayo. Ayo played really solid. I'm really happy for him. He got those 2 layups. That was really cool to see. And speaking of Ayo, after the game, DeMar DeRozan was talking about him, and he said he's definitely talented. He's one of my favorite rookies. That's definitely going to be something in a couple of years, and I agree. I really like Ayo. He's really aggressive. He's a great defender. And it wouldn't surprise me if he continued to stay in this Bulls rotation until Coby White gets back. I feel like he really forced Billy Donovan's hand to play him. He's just very talented, and he's fearless, like many Bulls players have said. And just some quick thoughts from tonight's game. Like I said, Zach LaVine is special. Caruso and Lonzo's defense is game-changing. Pushing the pace and transition, I feel like they need to do that more often, but they still did solid. The Bulls really need to work on some layups in practice tomorrow. The defense looked really solid. It wouldn't surprise me if the Bulls had a top 10 defense this season. I mean, they were 12th last season with that roster. Look at that roster than this roster. And like Bleacher Nation Bulls said, the second unit really needs Coby White. Coby White's going to be amazing off that Bulls bench, just focusing on scoring and being a walking bucket. I do feel like, I don't like to criticize the refs. I do feel like they missed a lot of calls, and it was just kind of a bad game last night. But nonetheless, Zach's special. A W is a W. Starting the season 1-0 is great. I can't wait for the game Friday versus the Pelicans. I saw Zion's out, so that's another game that the Chicago Bulls should win. Definitely leave some comments and questions below today's video talking about all the topics I talked about last night's game, and just any questions you guys got for me. Thank you guys for all the love on the channel and the past few videos. I really do appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching today's video. Have a good one.